Hello, and a warm welcome to Living the Dream French Riviera, the podcast where we explore women's professional journeys while relocating to the south of France. I'm your host, Cécile Gauthronet. Today I'm delighted to introduce Emilie, born in Antibes but raised between the UK and Belgium. Emilie grew up as what's often called a third culture individual, someone who grows up between countries, languages and cultures without fully belonging to just one. That international upbringing deeply shaped both her identity and her professional journey. After returning to the Riviera as a young adult, she built and ran a successful beauty salon in Nice for 15 years before making a bold professional shift later in life. Today, Emilie works as a reflexologist, combining care, well-being, and deep human connection from her private practice to nursing homes and corporate settings. In this episode, Emilie shares what it means to grow up between cultures, to start over professionally more than once, and to build a meaningful and sustainable career here on the French Riviera. Emilie, thank you so much for joining us today. You were born in France but raised between the UK and Belgium, which already gives you a unique international outlook. I'd love to start by hearing a little about your early life, your third culture background, and what brought you to the Riviera.
Well, I was born in France. I was born in Antibes in 1978. But I only lived there 6 months of my life because with my dad's job, the whole family got relocated to the UK. So I lived there till the age of 8, 9. And then we moved to Brussels again for my dad's job. We were transferred to Belgium, Brussels. And we lived there for over 10 years. And then I went to study at Brighton University. I wanted to study something paramedical. I wanted a paramedical profession. Initially, I wanted to be a physiotherapist. To cut a long story short, I ended up in podiatry to study as a chiropodist, but it didn't work out that well. So for several reasons, I was a bit unhappy there, and I wanted to go back what I called home.
How did moving between France and the UK and Belgium shape you as a child?
My early childhood in the UK, I have really fond memories, and I'm really thankful for my parents who put us in English schools opposed to putting us in lycée français, because definitely wouldn't speak English as well as today. And after living 8 or 9 years in the UK, we transferred with the family to Brussels with my dad's job. And because I'd studied in English, my parents put me in an English primary school for a year or 2. And then I was lucky to attend the European school in the English section. That's where I really got my third culture identity. I was with children from all different nationalities. In the playground, it was brilliant. You could hear Greek, Spanish, Dutch. Even today, that's something I seek all the time.
I imagine many of them worked for the European Parliament or that kind of position, civil servants for the European community. So not only you were all child from the third culture, but all children with same sort of background at home?
Yes, except we were really lucky to be able to go to the European school because my father was not working for the European Commission at all. He was an engineer, and at the time they were okay with that. Today you just wouldn't be able to attend that kind of school if your parents don't work for the Parliament or the European Commission, that's for sure.
So that was something very special?
It was.
Did it feel like something special at the time, or?
It just felt something normal because having grown up in the UK and then in Belgium, and they just put me into that multicultural environment and it just seemed normal. English at school, French at home, and then just speaking with friends from all different cultures.
Would you visit France for the holiday, for the summer?
Yes, absolutely. When I was young, I would visit France. I mean, we'd go off perhaps a month with my brother with a little sign around our neck with the air hostess on our own to go and see our grandparents. So we did that quite often, yes.
Do you have fond memories of that time?
I do have fond memories. Completely different memories to now, but yes, it was nice.
When did you first come back to the French Riviera, and what was that transition like?
After having studied in the UK, I didn't finish my studies, but in the meantime, my parents had gone back to France and I followed them. It didn't make sense to stay in the UK knowing that they were in France, so I naturally followed them to be close to my family because I was a bit lost. I needed to reflect on what I wanted to do with my life and my professional life. That's where I decided I wanted to study something concrete. So I ended up studying as a beauty therapist in Nice because I wanted to continue working in a profession where I take care of people.
When you arrived here, did it feel like a return home or more like arriving to a new country altogether?
A bit of both. I think home is where your family is. And even though I did feel a little bit like a foreigner, having lived abroad and everything, it obviously did feel familiar, having spent my holidays here on the French Riviera. But at first it was quite terrifying, the idea of having to study in French, because it was really going to be the first time I was going to study in French. At the European school, I was in the English section, and French was my second language. So although I had French at home, so my oral French was perfect, but my written French was really appalling. And I had to really work on that, and that's what I did. But it all worked out fine in the end. And then I opened my salon. I had my business in the centre of Nice for about 15 years.
When you came back to France, did you imagine yourself staying long term?
I think after having studied those 2 years as a beauty therapist and having the opportunity to open my salon, yes, it started to become a lot more permanent, that's for sure. I couldn't imagine, to be honest, living anywhere else.
So you arrived at the age of 20 here. You have your family, but how do you make friends?
It was, honestly, at first it was very difficult. A lot of French people had their own circle, had grown up together, and it was very difficult to sort of get into that French circle. And that's why I joined actually an international club for over 20s, because I really needed to have that international environment, and that helped. But it was difficult for me to make friends, and that was scary at first. And also the fact that I had to study in French, which was all very new for me. And it did continue a little bit when I started my own business, because all the sort of bureaucratic aspect of a business was quite scary as well. But you adapt to everything.
Let's move to your professional life. We've understood that you've had a salon for 15 years, a beauty salon for 15 years in Nice. What's your relationship to service in regards to what's offered in France usually?
I guess having lived abroad makes me more flexible, more adaptable, and being bilingual, then yes, I think I'm comfortable receiving people from all different nationalities.
Nice is not as international as the area where you are now. Was your clientele when you were in Nice mainly French?
When I was in Nice, I had mainly French clients, that's for sure. But yes, I had a few international clients.
So when they arrived in your salon, were they surprised to have somebody who could speak perfect English, or it was like a happy surprise?
It was a happy surprise. You know how people put on their business, their shops, they're fluent in English. Sometimes I really want to, but I really do speak English. So yes, no, it was always a pleasant surprise.
You have this beauty salon, but it's not what you do today. So how the transition happened?
After a while, I met my husband in Nice, and he's working in Sofia, and for many years he was commuting from Nice to Sofia every day. And you know how it is when you have your business. I had employees, and after a while it just didn't make sense anymore. And having my parents closer to where I live now, in Montsartou, Valbonne, the only thing that kept us in Nice was my salon, and I really wanted to give it up. So I was lucky to be able to sell it in 2018 just before COVID. So that was really the right move at the right moments. We finally found a house in La Roquette. I gave myself a bit of time to reflect on what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to continue taking care of people, but perhaps in a less superficial way than in the beauty world, and something more meaningful to me. Actually, reflexology, I had a friend when I was finishing my studies as a beauty therapist, a family friend, he's an osteopath, and he trained as a reflexologist as well. But I was 20 at the time. He mentioned the fact that I should train as a reflexologist, but it just didn't seem like I could make a job out of it. And perhaps I wasn't mature enough. So I suppose I put it at the back of my mind for all this time. And also I'd been working podiatry with feet, and perhaps I didn't want to be with feet anymore. But oddly enough, that's exactly what I'm doing today, and I love it. But yes, so I thought about reflexology, and as a beauty therapist, I was offered a weekend course, and that just wasn't what I wanted to do. So I looked into certified schools with the Association of Reflexologists in France. So they turned me towards a certified school in Le Var, in Tourette. I trained there every other month for 13 months, 4 days a week, while working at the same time in a beauty salon, and pregnant and 42. So it was a reconversion and very big challenge.
How did you juggle all of this?
Family support. I'm really thankful they really were there for me, and I wouldn't have been able to do it if I hadn't had my family with me, that's for sure. So it was a bit of a struggle. It was challenged certain times, but it gave me confidence now that I can tackle big challenges and changes.
Certainly. So you get your certification. What were the first steps into actually creating your practice?
Well, at first I thought I would do some house calls, but then because when you first start your practice, opening a practice is a bit daunting, because you wait for your clients and you have to have some sort of visibility. So I joined an online booking platform called Medicine for alternative therapies or holistic therapies, and that really helped me. That really helped me to get a little bit known. That was a little bit difficult at first, to get known and have visibility. I also had the opportunity to have a foot in nursing homes, retirement homes, to work with the elderly. That's just something I really like doing now. Actually, I juggle now between my practice and once or twice a week I work in nursing homes for the elderly. I first started working as what you'd call a socio-estheticienne. A socio-estheticienne, it would be a beauty therapist, but nothing to do with working in a beauty salon, that's for sure. It's about taking time, listening, a lot of taking care of. And
okay, would you say it's a way to bring them attention with maybe makeup, cream, massage, interaction? It's not applying makeup for them to be able to go to a party.
No.
It's just applying something
for well-being,
for them to feel like looked after and getting attention and recognition and.
Yes.
Through this,
through this, that I was able to, with the director, we were trying to. It's been a couple of months now, almost a year. We've been trying to implant reflexology in this nursing home, and hopefully people are more and more open-minded about it, because it brings so much to the residents in the nursing home. With cognitive pathologies, like Alzheimer or Parkinson's and other, reflexology really helps with stress relief and pain relief, just global relaxation. It induces a lot of relaxation, and that's what they need in nursing homes.
And are they open to having somebody who touch their feet? Because it's not really something that, okay, hello.
That's true. Yes, because they just like having somebody taking care of them. It's all positive and everybody's happy at the end of the day. Yes, definitely. Whether it's socio-aesthetics or reflexology, yes. I mean, some of them can't wait to see me from one week to another. They really wait for me to come. Yeah.
That must be really rewarding.
It's rewarding. It really is. It's fulfilling. I love my job. I love what I do. Whether it's in the iPad or
to practice.
Yeah, or practice.
So let's go back to actually building your practice and building your clientele. I imagine after 15 years having your own beauty salon, you knew that you had to start all over again to get a clientele, especially if you had employees before. So you had grown in a way that not only it was paying your bills, but you were employing other people, and then all of a sudden you have to start from scratch again. What's the feeling?
It's a crazy feeling. Like you said, having to start from scratch was very, very unsettling. I did it because I knew my family was supporting me in every way. I kept a job as a beautician part-time while I was studying, and I continued that at the same time when I opened my practice. I mean, if I have advice to give to somebody who would also want to start a profession like mine, like a holistic profession, perhaps not let go of everything all at a time. You have to, get visibility and get out there. You have to give a lot of your person to get known. And yes, being your own boss on your own is something quite of a challenge. But I chose to also rent a practice in a holistic centre, which means I'm not completely on my own. There's a yoga teacher, there's another therapist. So that also helps, and also this visibility on this online platform for holistic therapies also really helps. Yeah, I also sometimes work in companies in Sofia. So I also do wellbeing for employees in companies. So that's also a way for me to get known.
And to extend your clientele.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And so at the moment it's just you, but you have the experience of having employees from your beauty salon in Nice. Is this something that a route you will take again, having employees, or the experience taught you to never employ anyone again?
Been there, done that. Absolutely do not want to. I mean, it had its ups and downs, quite a few downs to be honest. No, I could not go there anymore. I love just being on my own and at my own pace and taking care of people and being there for them. Yeah.
What was the most difficult being an employer? The paperwork with the French administration? Would you develop this?
Do you really want me to go there? No. Actually, when I first opened, I was 24. And you know what my father said? He said, okay, just do your job. You're good at what you do. And I'll take care of all the administrative side of things. Just do your job. And I think that's what made me, for a while, obviously for 4 years, maybe 3 years, I don't think I knew what VAT was. I didn't open any letters. I just did my job with a nice smile on my face, and I ran my little business and it went really well. But around the age of 28, I started putting my nose in really all this sort of accounting and everything. And that's when I started to stress. And that's where all the stress came in. But, that's part of, having your own business.
We've seen your clientele. You have the nursing home. You have your clientele coming to your practice. And sometimes you go to the office, to some office settings in Sofia and Hippolyte. What is your clientele, mostly French or international?
I must admit it's mostly French, perhaps for a long time I didn't feel legitimate not to attract more English-speaking or international clients, which is ridiculous because obviously I'm bilingual. It's something I'm developing, a lot more. And I think it's important for people generally when you go and see either it's a doctor or holistic therapy. It's important to be able to express yourself in your mother tongue, and having someone who understands you, I think it's really important, and I can do that.
When did you realize how international this area was?
When I turned the radio on. I was like, whoa, there's Riviera radio. No, I actually, when I arrived here at the age of 20, I did feel a bit like an alien, having lived abroad and all that. And I really needed to reconnect with this international, environment. So my mum was actually part of the International Women's Club. And in her little newsletter, there was an ad saying, would you like to join the International Club for over 20s? So that I was drawn to that automatically, and it actually really helped me feel, a lot better and settled here.
Do you feel reflexology is well understood and accepted in France, or do you sometimes have to explain or educate people about it?
I'd say some people I need to explain exactly what reflexology is all about. I think since COVID, actually, people are more and more open-minded about well-being generally. I've noticed people want to feel better, whether it's emotionally or physically. That's also why I turn to that type of therapy. Reflexology speaks for itself. When after a session people feel so relaxed, then I don't need to explain anything anymore.
In France, people are used to very affordable healthcare through the public systems, through the social security. How do clients respond to paying privately for sessions?
To be honest, like I said, drawn to more and more alternative therapies alongside traditional medicine, of course. I mean, when I announce my prices, they're not put off or anything like that. The fact that now health insurance companies now reimburse more and more reflexology sessions, so that's real progress and help professions like us to get the recognition they deserve.
Has this influenced the way that you set your rate, your price?
Perhaps a little bit. I try to make my rates affordable so that everybody can access. So yes, the rates I practice are accessible to most people, and now that health insurance companies reimburse sessions, then it's real progress for everybody. There are ups and downs. Starting your own business like this is a bit scary at first. I'm developing my practice continually. I'm not so good on social media, but it's something I'm really working on. I think you have to get out there at one point. I really work on word of mouth.
So I'd love to reflect a little bit on your journey so far, what it's meant to you personally and professionally. Looking back, what would you do differently, if anything?
I think I trust myself a little bit more, and especially with developing English or international clientele, that's for sure. Now I understand how important it is living on the Riviera to attract international community.
Is this something you're going to work on?
Absolutely.
So that's your next target?
It's my next objective.
Wonderful.
For sure.
What have you learned about yourself through this journey?
That I'm adaptable.
Certainly. Has your third culture background given you a different way of seeing life in France?
I'm definitely a lot more curious. Having been abroad for so many years, I constantly seek international environment.
Do you feel fully home now, or are there still moments where you feel being in between culture?
It's been now over 25 years I've been in France. Perhaps when I arrived at the age of 20 on the Riviera, I would think in English, and like I said, French was my second language at school, even if it was French at home. And now, over 25 years now, I must admit, maybe I'm not European anymore and more, I feel perhaps a bit more French, yes. But it's definitely home here.
Was there a defining moment where you felt very proud, like, yes, I've made it?
Yes, recently, since I opened my practice and gradually, when I get positive feedback from my clients and the sessions, whether it's in the nursing home or my practice, it's very gratifying and it really motivates me, and I want to continue training. There are many postgraduate programs I can do with reflexology and with working in oncology, and it's very vast and so it's rewarding, and I'm a lot more confident now.
How do you think your life might have unfolded if you hadn't come back to France?
If I hadn't come back to France, I'd be, I don't know, possibly a happy podiatrist at Brighton University. But honestly, I think I needed to go towards the light, but literally towards the light. Sunshine, definitely sunshine.
We see many people who arrived on the Riviera with big hopes and expectation. Have you noticed any common patterns in the gap between expectation and reality?
I knew what to expect because I'd spent my childhood holidays here with my grandparents. Obviously, as a child, it's not the same as an adult. I mean, it's not all glamour here, but it's not like being on a holiday, but almost. I mean, we do work like everybody else in other countries, but I really feel privileged living here. And the quality of life is just amazing.
So you've anticipated my next question. Okay. Is life on the Riviera really as glamorous as it seems?
Well, yes and no. I mean, it's I could not live in Belgium or the UK anymore. At least not for the weather, that's for sure. I do miss I have fond memories of my education actually when I was in England. I think it was very encouraging, perhaps quite close to a Montessori style education you'd find here, but so expensive.
What's the most iconic place in the region in your opinion?
With my family, we love every weekend discovering different little villages here and there, and we love taking walks around the Cap d'Antibes. There's a walk we like doing, it's the Sentier de Littoral, and the views are just breathtaking. There's another walk we like doing in Théoul, lovely landscape, sea views. That's around the Pointe de l'Aiguille.
It's very special.
It's very special.
Do you have a favourite spot or hidden gem you'd like to share with us?
I must admit, I do like little villages like Montsartou or even Valbonne, the summer nights in the Place des Arcades in Valbonne. I like that international atmosphere.
Do people speak French in Valbonne, or it's English only? That's the joke. That's the joke usually.
It is the joke. Yeah.
What's your favourite thing about living here?
I just love the idea that you can go skiing in the mountains an hour away from here, and then you've got the sea just close by, and it's just a beautiful lifestyle here. And going to work, even we've had rain today, and then the sun comes out, and I just need light for the mood.
How do you see the region evolving culturally or professionally?
Professionally, I think we're making so much progress. Like I said, people are so much more open-minded about holistic therapies, and it's continually developing. But I'm still keeping grounded. I think some therapies are developing perhaps into something a bit too esoteric. I'm not quite there yet, and I don't think I'll ever be.
Wonderful. Emilie, thank you so much for sharing your story with us today. It's been a real pleasure hearing how your international background and your work in reflexology come together here on the Riviera.
Well, thank you, Cécile, for inviting me.
Thank you for listening to Living the Dream French Riviera. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it, follow the podcast and leave a review. It really helps others discover these stories. You can find more about Emilie and all my guests on livingthedreampodcast.com, and if you'd like to support the podcast, you'll also find a link there. This was episode 15 of season 1 with 7 more episodes still to come, and I'd love to hear from you. What would you like season 2 to be about? You can let me know by leaving a comment. A heartfelt thank you to Claire Long, whose music brings warmth and emotion to every episode. I'm Cécile Connet, and this has been Living the Dream, French Riviera. À bientôt!